Welcome to the first Podlims. We get a cheer.
Oi.
We've made
Wait.
it.
So let's just go out. Let's just go out with who we are. I'm TJ, or the name would be Esk. I'm one of the hosts, and I'm a 17-year-old Spurs fan from London.
I'm Max or Cook anyway, and I'm a 16-year-old Arsenal fan from Nottingham.
Diverse, really diverse.
Exactly.
Anyone else want to step out?
Brandon, or like aristocratic laws. I'm a 15-year-old Spurs fan from Swansea.
I'm Chicken McKenna, also known as Bobby. I'm a 19-year-old Bolton Wanderers fan from Bolton.
That is quite a diverse cast. We have a few, like the Lozlims, as it started out, like everyone's across the UK and now also across the world. We have Lozlims from Syria, from Ireland, from France, New Zealand. Like we're global. We're a global movement.
Not all of them active.
Yeah, of course, not all of them are active, but like as long as it's for those sweet shout outs on the True Geordie podcast, that's what we live for.
That's
as well.
Yeah. So what I actually thought yesterday's shout out was probably the best one we've had.
Yeah. I listened to it to go to sleep, and when I heard Lozlims, I was like, oh, I have to wake up and just listen to this over and over again.
Result.
But realistically, have we got any lawyers or barristers in Lozlims if Laurence needs it?
Oh,
I was thinking that as well. I can do a good devil's advocate. I can do a good I can do a good
people online.
Well, when we started the whole Lozlam thing, like, to be honest, it was me, Quotes, and Laurence McKenna, the one from Sheffield, and I just saw it as something called Lawrence Twitter, as like something that's going against football Twitter. So I fucking hate FC. I know they're gonna hear this, and they can call me a nonce all they want, but like, I saw FC at the time like, let's make something better. And Quotes was this guy who had the title LMCK, and he was TG Podcast Quotes. He was like the coolest guy that you could ever meet.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Quotes. Gone but never. Yeah. Hashtag respect the dead. So yeah, and I decided to say and just recruit people saying, let's become Lawrence Twitter. Let's become like just have like, we'll be more classy, more irreverent, more 100% up for being sexual, and all those classy quotes that are more cultured. All those quotes I've been flinging around from like True Geordie podcast that can be just developed. That could just be like made into like just a whole movement on Twitter. And then Loz the Lord or Lord Loz, I think is the first person to start calling it Lozlims.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a bit iffy with that, like Laurence was, but I was still fully up for it. Like whatever goes against the rest of them, like it's us against the world, isn't it?
So should we start by saying each going around individually how we got into the Lozlims and like what made us make the accounts and stuff? I think I religiously watched all of the podcasts as you do, but and then like
Who hasn't?
I think it was probably 6-7 months ago, and I think Quotes got a shout out on the podcast, and I was like, let me go have a look to go on Twitter, find like Quotes whatever. I was like, oh, I can get about this here, and so yeah, make my own.
So I became a Lozlim, or I was one of the few people who started like Lawrence Twitter alongside Quotes, and then Messiah McKenna. Everyone starts creating like accounts dedicated to Laurence, and I was thinking, this is so edgy, I love it. And then later a group chat was made, and then the man himself, along with other men themselves, joined the chat. We're basically the most well-known, we're basically the most prestigious group chat going around right now that no one knows of.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to collab with us.
Yeah.
So I was just watching the podcast for quite a while, and then after seeing like a lot of different like Laurence accounts popping up on Twitter, I was like, I've got to make my own. Join the group chat, get my Lozlim passport, and then there I was.
I mean, I'm pretty much the same as well as Chicken. I saw it getting mentioned on I think like the kickoff and the podcast. I didn't really see anything in my timeline, but I knew of quotes, and I think it was like one time. I think it was around January, like or maybe like early February, and I made an account. I started making really shitty paint edits, harassing Lord Loz to give me a Loz port and in the chat.
Oh, as you do, yeah.
Do you know what I
That's like
remember? I remember messaging Lord and him quizzing me on Laurence before he added me to the chat. And I'm like quizzing me, and he went in, and I was like there, sat there going, shit, man, this is gonna be harder than I thought.
Did you recite the oath?
I did recite the oath, of course.
I joined before having to recite the oath, so I don't know it that well.
No, I
It's
didn't
okay.
actually have to respect the oath, but like I did
Yeah.
at a later date. But
Oh yeah, no.
border control has tightened up a lot. Legs, it means legs it.
Heart lex, go on a hard lex it. Yeah, like obviously there's no better pride than like because we're avid podcast watchers. We fully support the kickoff and the knockout. So like every time we get like a shout out on one of them, and on XO as well, like that happens. And
Yeah, no, it's incredible, man.
Yeah.
we're always moving up in the world. Like I love it when a plan comes together, as Brian would say.
Yeah.
Do you remember that like little golden generation when Stephen was in for about like
Oh, him and Will.
and someone pissed him off?
And someone pissed him off, and then him and Will just left. I was
That's
like,
our rule.
literally blown.
That's why we have the rule: don't share anything from the group chat.
What
Don't
stays in the
share anything
chat?
from the
Who
group.
was that?
I
I remember what it was.
I feel like he's not.
No need to.
And then obviously we have the Lozlim jury at one point as well.
Oh god. Should we talk about the statists?
Should we talk about?
The
Yeah,
status.
okay.
Who the
That's
fuck are they? What the fuck is a status?
They're all dead. They all got
Okay.
biffed them out of existence.
So
They
the
literally have
status, right? So we were talking like to around like Laurence and talking about like the whole people who work around the kickoff and like asking, are they all Lozlims? Are they all Lozlims? And then like hearing that Statman Dave calls himself leader of the status. I'm wondering, oh shit, are we about to wage war? And then like all these accounts are popping up, and there was a whole quarrel, I'd say, a whole quarrel, and then a
Someone came
Lozlam
to
defecated.
right?
Yeah, someone did. And the older Lozlam Lord, the older like the one before the current one, and we removed him, and he became what was it? Sexual Statman.
sexual.
Yeah.
Sexual stat man.
Disgusting. If I search now, he's still gonna have like his account up.
I
Yeah,
think
I've
still
got it
are.
now.
All the points are
FMV.
up, but they're just
He's
dead.
blocked me.
All these retweets are from February last year, February 2016.
Yeah.
You can imagine how long we've been Lozlims for. Fucking hell.
Jeez.
That's
It's a
crazy.
good cause. So like obviously the status are gone.
I'd like to think that
Sexual-
sexual status is in many ways like Lucifer, fallen,
Yeah.
once an angel, fallen from the sky.
Fallen from Dave. Yeah, you had Spanish by trade, parentheses SMD, sexual statman, savior statman, savage statman. Who else? Yeah, that's it. And I'm pretty sure it's the same person as well.
Yeah. Do you remember there was a Baltist as well?
Oh yeah.
The Bolters, we didn't care about them. Boltwood is
That was-
a sweet
Well, no,
guy.
you say them. It was one guy, and then like he was trying to do some math like combative thing, and you're like, hold on a minute, Adam Boltwood is a Lozlam, so where are you going
Yeah.
with this?
Exactly.
That was it. That was the end of the Baltist, really.
There's only one Bolt, and that's Bolton. And Boltwood, yeah, he's a sweet guy. We've never spoken to him, but like every time he makes an appearance on anything, like he seems pretty cool.
He's a legend.
Love Boltwood. I remember the days
Yeah.
of like TFR and shit, and like watching that, and in retrospect, it was a bit shit, but like
First like video of Laurence I watched was the Pochettino one. So interested.
what was that about?
How Pochettino was changed first.
Oh right, I remember I was subscribed to like TFR for a while, so I think it was around the time of when they were doing like those debates and shit.
TFR's kind of dead. TFR is dead now, but like I still watch them for like Reece James and Lloyd Griffith because they're the ones who keep it funny.
You know, I mean, they've got some good people on there, but I don't know, I'm not subscribed.
It's dying. Yeah.
Remember slash football. I can't do an
Slash
American accent.
football.
Oh,
Slash football. Sponsors the football holiday.
family.
Yeah, fuck the status.
They probably
Yeah.
must have, to be honest.
I'm sure. Like they're just dead now. But it still needs to, hashtag respect the dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about, as we were talking about before, underrated English YouTubers?
Underrated YouTubers.
Yeah, like English young
The whole Northeast. The entire Northeast. Cam, Ranty, Cat Allen, True Geordie. He's still underrated. Like
he is. No,
like,
I think you can still put one of the underrated Catherine because he's not on 10.
Yeah, like he's rated, but he's not rated enough.
Yeah.
Will's always making a name for himself because the whole sub to Will and
I think Will's fairly rated.
Yeah, I think Will's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you got. So do you know Charlie Vincent or like Charlie Vlogs anyway?
Kind of. I've heard of him.
So he was on the kickoff that time. He was the guy on the kickoff that didn't say a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I felt so bad for the guy. Basically, I'm quite close to him, and he messaged me in the morning, like, knowing I'm a massive cheer. He was like, I'm going up the kickoff. So I was like, right, that's awesome. Like, really buzzing for him. Looking forward to it. And I really think he bottled it. He deserves he's so funny. And if you guys, like, honestly, check his channel out because he is really good.
He just kind of fools.
Yeah, Charlie Vlogs. Yeah,
That's right.
his face is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Affects him. But like he looks like a mix between Touch the Queef and Sam Pepper. But he's better. He's better than that.
No, yeah, he's good. And I think he really like realised after how much he bottled the kickoff that time.
Yeah, obviously, like the kickoff just always gets overrun with the Man United fans and the Liverpool fans, like Vianic, who keeps making appearances. I was
regional. Like I don't know, Cop 90's a bit shit. It's a bit wank, but like.
Cop 90. I'm actually going to be on one of their videos soon.
Oh,
so
really?
watch this space. Yeah. It'll be a video about Dulwich Hamlet. You'll see me make a little appearance in it. I think.
Man.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Even so.
Yeah, I'll share it. Like I got to meet Ellie Menjum. Like he's such a decent guy. Like you can chat about football to him, but as long as possible. He has so much like on his mind and so much like talk about based on football because football without fans is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, well, my issue with like Carper 90 is not all the people on there seem fine, but like the way a lot of it seems like it kind of pushes the whole like against modern football thing, which I'm just so fucking tired of.
That is the whole thing. Like it's by the fans for the fans, so all those fans will have like their own agendas, which will most likely be against modern football.
You know, but like like Ali Benjamin himself, like he seems like I've seen him on videos that weren't Carper 90, right? And he seems like a likable bloke, but
yeah.
Like a lot of the videos he's on is so kind of he almost like kind of fetishizes like I don't know being a real fan or some shit. I don't know. It's just I find it just kind of boring and very
what annoys me
one-note.
about Ellie as well is that what determines you as a real fan? Like what?
Yeah.
There are no real fans. A fan isn't like you can like.
One that keeps you cold.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Well, like
as an Arsenal fan living in Nottingham, yeah, I can't go to every game. Does that mean I'm not a real fan? No.
Yeah.
No. If you've been to games before, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like I go to as many as I can when I'm in London with my dad and stuff. It's like there's a certain extent of games you can't go to. Like
yeah, like there is issues like price, distance, like that stops you from going to games. Like I was so relieved to hear that Spurs were playing at Wembley because that means fairly cheaper ticket and getting to be in the biggest stadium in England, so it's never going to sell out. That's
the frustration with the Emirates. It's like my got grandparents that literally live down the road. Like I can walk to the stadium, and it's like my granddad struggles to get tickets there.
Well, I mean, there has been a bit of controversy with Spurs about season ticket prices, which I mean I don't live near Spurs, but I know from watching the Fighting Cock podcast, and it's difficult because there's on the one hand you're thinking like you need ticket prices to be like if they're trying to be competitive as they are with the new stadium, you can see why they'd want to increase ticket prices, right? To increase revenue. But then at the same time, you do run the risk of alienating fans.
Yeah.
But also, I think a lot of football clubs are going in the wrong direction with the fan side, the alienating them.
How do you mean?
I mean, in terms of bigger stadiums, and I'm not going against what I'm saying, but I'm saying the bigger a stadium gets, the more touristy it becomes. Which then, so you see with Chelsea, like they don't even have a big stadium, right? The majority of their fans or not fans, but the fans at the game will be tourists.
Yeah.
Because of the club, and I think clubs are trying to brand themselves as tourist attractions.
I guess, but I feel that's also kind of the way like Chelsea operates as a club. Maybe that's just me being a Spurs fan.
Yeah, but I think a lot of clubs are now trying to follow in the footsteps because they see the money being brought in by tourists.
Mm. What are your thoughts on like fans in other countries? And so, like, for example, like in Egypt, there's a lot of Liverpool fans basically because of Mo Salah. What are your thoughts on that sort of thing?
I think that's fine.
Going back to the whole Copa 90 thing, the videos was like when I first started watching them was the greatest football YouTube clip show ever. Like that was quite a good series, and I don't know what's happened to whoever hosted it. Also, Derby Days.
I think Copa 90 have got some really good series, and they would do so much better on different channels.
Yeah, I guess.
I hear that.
Imagine and stuff like series like that. They are quite entertaining to watch, and I think they're produced well, and they're good series. But again, I do think there is an issue where it does kind of push the whole against modern football, that kind of thing, just being overly
the whole agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine the show like comments below on a different channel with different people running it. I think you'd get a better side of Poet and Booge.
I have nothing against Poet and Booge, to be honest.
No, I know, but I think they're both like brilliant guys. They're good at what they do, but I think they would perform better under a different group of people around them.
I can see that. I guess if they maybe had like a bit more kind of creative freedom, but maybe they don't want that at the same time. It is a job,
I like how Copa 90 has those things where it's about outside Europe, or like inside Europe, like outside the UK. The Graham Souness video, how to piss off 10 million football fans, I thought was absolutely hilarious because he did it because he stuck a massive Galatasaray flag in the middle of Fenerbahce Stadium. And then them documenting that is hilarious. So that's Copa 90.
Copa 90, yeah. I think I've said about all I can about Copa 90.
Yeah, it's a one to keep talking about because they've been this, and also what you can't deny is they have been the same for 5-6 years. Like they've stuck at what they've done, really.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a Brian and Laurence knockoff of FIFA and Chill.
Oh, that would be amazing. Or what you mean? They do play FIFA.
Yeah,
on the kickoff,
Yeah. But I mean, like just a 20-minute
people.
Like a 20-minute, they sit down with a footballer, they play FIFA, they just like, or not even FIFA and chill. I mean, with Brian, you'd have like a few beers with football. I know they wouldn't, but do you know what I mean? Imagine that sort of like vibe. I think you get
FIFA and chill is actually popping off right now because like of all the big names they get, AJ Tracy, Young Bane, Michael Daffin, they got some big names in there. Speaking of orange things that aren't Copa 90, Wolverhampton Wanderers, they've now signed Ruben Neves.
I just saw that
transition.
Shit.
That was the transition. I was about
It's going to fuck up the league so much.
Exactly. I was going to bring it up. Yeah. So I think the deal's until 2023.
Yep, 5 years.
So yeah,
that's impressive from Wolves, man.
And did you also see they signed Rui Patricio as well?
Yeah. When they did that, I was like, no. How can you sign the best? Like you've only just been promoted to the Premier League again after how long, and you've already signed the best goalkeeper in Portugal.
Hell, man. Can you imagine now if they go down?
Oh, there's no way they're going down.
Not with their money. Not with their monny.
Even if it gets to January and they're bottom, they'll bring in. They can get whoever they want at this point.
I think out of all the teams that have just been promoted, Cardiff is most likely to get relegated. Out of all of them.
I mean, I didn't even think Cardiff deserved to get promoted. I think they've been poor this season.
Should have been Villa and Fulham. Should have been Villa and Fulham, not Cardiff. Fulham, I was so happy about when they finally got promoted again. They just need to make some signings now and just implement their place back in the league, which they undeservedly went down from.
And I think I joined
Swansea down.
The call when you were talking about Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah, Sessegnon, yeah.
So I mean, personally, let's take out Fulham for example. For his career alone, I think he needs to stay. because he is still young, and I think another year or two there in the Premier League, a year or two with it, that would really develop him as a player. Then you can move on to a big club. Whereas I think if he goes now, he won't start. He'll lose his form, and I think that's where it's going to go downhill for him.
I guess it depends on the club, though.
Yeah.
If
I
he
want to
goes
see
to
him progress
Chelsea,
in the
I
Premier
can
League.
definitely see that happening. Like a club like Chelsea, like you've seen, they've had so many talented young players. Maybe not on the level of Ryan Sessegnon, but still, like, very, very good young.
Yeah, you forget Fulham. Yeah, you forget Fulham still have a rivalry with Chelsea. Like, they're not always a feeder club to each other. Like, I think Chelsea's more of a feeder club to Fulham than Fulham is to Chelsea. I don't think I can see it going the other way round.
I also
think
think
it depends on how much is being offered.
Well, Spurs, I think the club, like, they're trying to be difficult and want like 40 million, like in the region of 40 to 70 million, which is understandable. They want to keep the player, and I'm pretty sure they want him to stay, and Sessegnon is keen on staying.
Well, I saw something which said last summer, like, Sessegnon was really keen on a move to Spurs, and he probably could have gotten like significantly cheaper. Well, definitely way, way cheaper than he'd go for now. And it's annoying because I've seen this happen with Spurs before. Players like, Moussa Dembele for Celtic, completely missed out on him. We could have got him for $5 million.
Willian came so close. Willian came so close to signing for us. He was having a medical, and then he went to Chelsea instead.
I mean, what can you do with that, though, to be fair,
They pissed us off so much of that. Yeah. Not to offend any Newcastle fans listening, but I think Mitrovic should stay at Fulham. If he's tearing up for a club like that, I doubt he'll actually get a chance at Newcastle. Just keep him at Fulham, the club that he most likely enjoys, and just let him tear it up.
So have you seen it? You Spurs fans in here, aren't there? So Alistair and Plea,
Yep.
So West Ham just bid 27 million for him.
They can have him.
Yeah.
That's why I was just like, I was gonna say. So, but what are your opinions on him? Because I can't talk in League One.
I hate having competition with teams like West Ham and other mid-table to lower clubs.
Man. If West Ham are going for the same player as Spurs, we should probably be giving them a miss.
Yeah.
And like it seems there's one player from League One right now. I think he's a midfielder. His name escapes me. But he seems like a good player, like
Seri?
League One midfielder, Rabiot.
I don't think it's Seri. I think it's another guy.
It's Rabiot.
No, I don't think it's Rabiot either. I think it's like some.
We have an obsession with PSG.
Might play for Lille. It might be somewhere else. It's definitely not PSG. It's not Monaco. It might be Nice. It might be Lille.
Fekir.
Anyway.
I think we're going for him now.
It's not even Fekir. It's fine. Anyway. Like, it's just with the majority of players from Ligue 1, it's like, I think because of Nkudu and because of NG, it's, on a good miss. Actually, I know the player, funnily enough, he does have N at the start of his name with a little, apostrophe. But
it's Tanguy Ndombele. That's the one you're thinking of.
That's the one. He's supposed
to be a Dembele replacement, and he's Ndombele, which is funny. Sounds like Dembele.
Despite the name, like, I think, like, I'd like to see him in the, even though we have had the Nkudus and the NGs.
And it's like, we never really had. I think we were actually thinking of signing Nzonzi. Not Nzonzi. He was terrible for every club he played for, in my opinion. But Nzonzi I think, is more of an Arsenal target than a Spurs target, and always has been.
Yeah. Kirk, I was wanting to ask, how do you think Arsenal will do this season? Because I know it's quite hard to predict. I probably see them, like, again, finishing Europa League, but...
I'm the same. I think our main goal with having Unai Emery now, and, I mean, the fact that we've got a goalkeeper that can save shots will be helpful.
A new manager. With Emery, I think we're going to get someone who, in 2 years, will be good. But I mean, personally, I think I'll be annoyed if Arsenal fans give him shit.
Yeah.
This early on as well.
You've got to give him time. You can't expect him to walk in and get Champions League.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm happy for us to take a step backwards if in the future means we're going to go forward. So finishing 7th the next year is not a problem for me if we've shown improvement. So
I hear that, yeah.
Or at least not even like an improvement, but I guess if it looks like you're on the right road,
Yeah, and I think they're bringing in. I really, really want Torreira from Sampdoria because I mean I don't know if you've been watching much of Uruguay, but he gives a shit. He's got heart, and that's what.
I guess you could have said the same about Xhaka as well. Do you know? I mean, Xhaka.
But I think Xhaka was never going to fit our system.
Yeah.
I think with Wenger, I think he bought Xhaka as a scapegoat because we needed a CDM, and he was like, "Shit, who do we go for?" He overpaid for him because realistically, is he worth 30 million? I don't know.
Absolutely not.
And that's what I mean. So I think it was a shit. Let's try and get a signing done. And don't get me wrong, he's a great player and he's had some good games for us, but he's not a player. He's not a player I look at and think he fits the Arsenal role. Whereas I think someone like Lucas Torreira, who's willing to put a lot on the line, is somebody I would happily watch and see in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Who's the other people in the chat? We have the Bolton fan, and we have. Is that it? Is it just the Bolton fan as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your transfer experience this season?
I mean, for
being a champion, getting to avoid.
I mean, it's not been great recently, or like for the past few years, because we've been under embargo for so long. It's been very like, let's just get this player. And for me as a Bolton fan, it's felt like we've signed players to please the fans. So like Lafondra, we only got him to please the fans. I remember.
Signed,
oh no, sorry.
Hanos Tuma. He played for my local non-league team, Dulwich Hamlet. He was absolutely brilliant. He before like Peterborough, like when there was transfer speculation around him, the clubs were Peterborough and Burnley, who were just about to go into the Premier League, and I feel like that could have been his chance to go with Burnley into the Premier League, but instead he went to Peterborough in League One. Then he signed for Walsall, and then tore up and just scored a lot of goals for them, became their best player. And now Bolton's signed them, and he can finally be like a Championship player.
Yeah, I feel like we've got to give these sort of players chances, because obviously in the Championship it's not elite level, but it's building them players up to get to that elite level. And that's why it's a good place to be. We signed someone from Charlton, I think it was. I can't remember his name now, but he scored a few worldies recently. I remember
from Charlton.
I think it was Charlton.
Or they signed Oztuma, which is from Walsall.
That's it, Walsall.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Yeah,
yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Walsall, and I'm glad he can finally get that chance.
Exactly.
To be in a higher league. You also signed a Spurs player and an Arsenal player. From the under-23s. You've got Chiori Johnson from Arsenal, who's be a young right back, and then you've got Joe Pritchard, who's a central midfielder. I've been keeping up to date with the Spurs like under-23s, like the entire Spurs academy.
Yeah.
So I know what players like Joe Pritchard, Tom Skip, Rio Griffiths are like. I think he's a really good player, and he should like get some chances.
You're in many ways the Windy Coys of the Lozlims.
Yep. Oh, Windy. Oh yeah, Chris. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, but we've speaking of Spurs fans, we've only ever had one on the kickoff, and that wasn't even for like league.
Yeah.
It was Flav. Is it Flav or Flav?
Flav.
Flav. Yeah, he was on the Spurs versus Tunisia one. I mean, it's England versus Tunisia. Yeah, England versus Tunisia, and I'm thinking I've been recommending like. An XGO max, even expressions if Jordy doesn't punch him. Like just for the kickoff, because we've had a lot of Arsenal, we have a lot of Man United and Liverpool fans going on the kickoff.
No, I think expressions is kind of annoying, you know. What is it? Is it his brother or like his cousin or something? Rants and Bants. He's like,
oh yeah.
Football wise, he's annoying, but like he I know I quite like him, but like expressions just kind of he pisses me off a bit, to be honest.
It's because of his charisma and his energy. Like it does piss off a lot of other Spurs fans, and everyone calls him like.
But I don't find it like charismatic. You know, like I don't know. Like it's just it comes off very obnoxious. Which okay, that's his thing. Maybe that's just me, but it's not for me personally.
Funny thing is, Expressions grew up in a family of Liverpool fans, but at the age of 11, he started supporting Spurs.
Oh yeah.
Just because he felt like it, and I'm thinking, it doesn't sound plastic. He goes to a lot of games, but he does sound a bit fake.
I don't think he's plastic, but
he isn't put. I don't think. I wanna believe that he isn't putting it on for the camera. Like Spurs do like him.
I think he's putting it on for the camera, but I don't think he's plastic. You know.
Oh no, yeah. Because I follow him on Instagram as well. I watch his stories. He's he's like, to me, he's funny. I find him personally hilarious.
You know, I know what you mean. I saw him on Facebook long before I saw him on YouTube. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
Speaking of Spurs fan channels, how dead has Spurred On been? It was supposed to be the next
Christ, dude, I remember
Arsenal.
that. I remember I watched that.
Arsenal Fan TV in Redmond, like, and then trying to catch up with them to be like the best thing ever. But their host Barnaby, I didn't like him. I just didn't like him.
I didn't mind him, but like I was very neutral towards him. I think I actually I DM'd I think it was Craig Mitch on Snapchat, I think. And I basically asked, just like, this was months after it got, and it popped into my head again, like I remembered that channel. And I DM'd him and I just asked, like, oh, do you know why it ended? And I think he said the company or whatever that was behind it just pulled funding. So I guess that was because like it only had like about what 10,000 subscribers. It wasn't doing too well. So.
Oh yeah. Besides, we've been talking about Spurs for quite a lot. And I've always like wanted to do like a whole Premier League recap because Spurs have done well in the league. Like they finished highest finishing London club this season, and getting to be the only Champions League football team in London next season. Other team, you know who I really like as a YouTuber who's quite underrated, but really rated? Liam or Vizza, the Burnley fan.
Yes, yeah, I have seen a bit of him actually.
Yeah, I know of them, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
So I continue.
Ginge. He's quite like out there with like how he is. He's a pretty funny Burnley fan as well because like he offers insight to the club he loves, which I can fully respect. Like Burnley is that traditional hard Brexit team. I love saying that hard Brexit team. Like he's part of that traditional fan base.
What I liked about Liam as well the other day, did you see when Burnley got given like who they would play in the Europa League, and
Aberdeen,
his reaction to getting a Scottish side?
I felt so sorry for him.
Oh shit! I saw that on Twitter actually.
Yeah, I felt so sorry for him because it was you know, you wait 51 years for a European tour and it's the country next to you.
Yeah.
Like how much would that?
How much
that piss you off?
I know, yeah, they'll beat Aberdeen, but it's frustrating, isn't it? Because they were so excited to go.
You see who Rangers got? You see who Rangers got? Rangers got the fourth best. They got the fourth best team in Macedonia. That is something I wanted Burnley to get.
Giants.
The funny thing is, I can't even tell you the best team in Macedonia.
They call it FC Skopje, which is I believe it's Macedonian for Skopje or the capital of Macedonia. But they're the fourth best team in Macedonia, and like that's something I want Burnley fans to get to, just tear it up in the capital city of Macedonia, and make the place well known to other fans. It's like how West Ham when they went to Andorra,
Astra fucking go.
Astra fucking go. Like they when they went to Andorra, and their fans like they would go anywhere like that was good support. Speaking of Burnley, they just released their new kit this season, and Vizza's shown his reaction to it. And Vizza's shown his reaction to it, and it's lost. They haven't got the collar, which Newcastle also had, which I didn't like. That weird Puma collar. They've got a round collar, very nice, but they have this massive betting logo with a giant chip on it, which I don't like. But the rest of the kit is amazing.
Also, wanted to talk about everyone's opinions on the JJ Logan Paul fight and the undercards.
Oh yeah.
I want to say JJ for the win, but I don't want to hold my breath just yet.
So I don't know if you guys watch Syndicate Life of Tom Cassell, whatever you call it. So have you seen the Joe Weller?
The little interaction.
But it's like, I used to, but he just started to piss me off, so I stopped watching.
Yeah.
I mean, he's now said that he's got like a month to basically prepare to fight. Tom is 5'3". I just think, Jesus, mate.
Joe Weller v Tommy Robinson.
Essentially.
Yeah, very offensive.
Actually, what would be great is, Artist Taxi Driver,
Yeah,
him and Tommy Robinson. Could you imagine?
that's what that is. I think the definition of a grudge match.
Yeah, no.
Wild Man versus the guy who created Pornhub. YouPorn.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
That would be the.
I feel like the guy that created YouPorn saved Wild Man on many lonely nights, though. So.
Yeah.
I think what saved Wild Man was a defibrillator.
Yeah, that too. I've never seen a man go through Strongbos like their bloody cokes. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What are they doing with Strongbos, man? Like cider is a casual drink, but for Wild Man, I thought the casual drink for him would be vodka.
I thought he was Guinness.
I guess, man. Like, look, dude, the way he was drinking was impressive. I'm like a serious lightweight, so like, chief, it was insane.
Oh yeah.
Going through them easily. Even so, Lawrence, going through a few.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on? Yeah.
He's a man of the dark fruit, I think. I've seen him.
Yeah.
Seen him
Dark
go
fruit
through a
isn't
few
too bad.
dark fruits on the podcast before.
I like apple ciders more than dark fruits, but
I've currently
I
got
prefer dark fruits.
I've currently got a Thatcher's Gold on the go. So
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the worst is Guinness.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. People that drink Guinness and say they enjoy
Guinness
it,
and
they
cider
lie.
is just adults.
The only time I've drunk Guinness was just purely for the end. The end's just
Yeah.
means.
Yep,
No other
definitely.
reason.
I mean, yeah, definitely. What were your
So-
thoughts on
We were on about JJ Logan Paul, right?
Oh yeah. What were your thoughts on Laurence not making an appearance in the Emma Kenny one? Obviously, it was a good podcast, but the whole no loss, no party thing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's understandable.
Yeah.
But even so, no loss, no party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I can see why
but
not.
You've also got to admit he was on. So
I don't really view the podcast without laws as like traditional podcasts anyway. Like both of the ones that there's been, they've had like a kind of a separate.
they've
you
been
know.
like different themes, haven't they? And I think what was good about the Emma Kenny one is you actually got a little bit of an insight into about Brian. I know we have the life of Brian, but that is still my favourite podcast of all time.
Times where you want to be serious.
Yeah, it was, and I think Emma Kenny, she's actually quite. I'd like to see a third podcast with Loz as well.
Yeah, wasn't that the first one have Laurence in it as well?
Yeah, no, I mean a second one, but obviously it would be a third one, wouldn't it? Because she's already been on.
yeah.
Yeah, I
We
heard that.
definitely
Yeah.
need, we definitely need another Wildman podcast for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like obviously wait a while because it's still fresh, but for sure we need the part 4.
Definitely. Yeah, back to the Logan KSI thing.
You start. What do you think about it?
I mean, agreeing with a few of the other things I've seen online. Obviously, I think if you were going off, I mean, I watch quite a bit of fighting, but if you were going off size, you'd have Logan fighting no one, Jake fighting JJ, and Deji fighting no one. If you're being honest, like the matchup wise, they're both Deji and JJ are both being stitched up, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
I mean-
I'm not saying JJ can't win because JJ is a very good boxer, and you've got to ask yourself how much training's Logan done.
Yeah.
Was that leaked video we saw even real?
Yeah,
Good on-
I think
good on
the
Jordy.
size thing,
Yeah.
Logan and JJ, I think that's kind of overstated. Like
Yeah.
it definitely factors in, but I think you look at the way, like the only footage is I don't watch Logan Paul, so I wouldn't know for sure. But I think the only footage we've seen is of that fight, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
on-
so
good on
like even
Jordy
then,
for
it didn't even look that impressive. Like
No,
sure,
this is what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
he looked slow.
A guy that big realistically doesn't go down that easily.
Yeah, he looked slow, and his punch didn't actually look as powerful as it, And
He
I
Yeah.
think, and you compare that to what we see of JJ. JJ's fast, his movement's great. I think I think with the result, I think it's definitely going to be JJ beats Logan, and I think it's going to be Jake beats Edgy. And I think that's.
I just want to say,
pretty nailed
good on Jordy, good on Brian for like being quite serious in responding to how Deji
yeah.
about what they how I felt backlash. But Keemstar, I've always just not liked him.
Dude, fucking
I
so,
think
like,
it was
that's kind of
unfair of Keem. What Keem did is he knew what he was doing because at this point we know Deji's been dropped by Vidal. We don't know reasons why, but we know they're not like Vidal's not coaching him anymore. So
Yeah.
Deji's probably not in a great place at the moment mentally, just because he's not with a trainer. For then Keem to come out and publicly shoot him down like that, it's not what you want to be doing to someone who's a month.
Keemstar's been a cunt from day one, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's maybe died down a bit recently, but that's only
He's a stirrer, basically.
that's only after he had got so much shit for doing that. Yeah, like I think you look at
He runs a drama channel, and the only way for his channel to progress is for him to create drama himself.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not even that. I just think he comes off as a scummy guy. Like I remember in the group chat, and I probably shouldn't be bringing it up because it's the group chat, only we really know about it. But like we were talking about that streamer who was on a podcast with Keemstar, and basically I think Keemstar came up with a bullshit reason to end the podcast, and then for like maybe months afterwards, I think it seemed almost like Keemstar was annoyed that guy which he was on the podcast with still had a platform, like admittedly a small platform. I think he only has like about 30,000 subscribers. He seemed annoyed that he had kept that core audience, and he would on his huge channel for like I don't know how big it is, like what 2-3 million subscribers, maybe more at this point. It's so long since I've seen Keemstar's channel. He would bring him up on that channel and like just basically spread bullshit about him, you know. Like he seems a very malicious guy, and
he chats so much shit on Twitter, especially.
Yeah, exactly. Like not even nowadays he still does, but like back in the day, like before, around the time of like when iDubbbz made that video about him, Jesus fucking Christ, it was never ending.
So much, yeah, going into it so much, and like Keemstar and Rice Gum, like they try to act like all like white knights and high and mighty about what they're all like they stand for something, and when in reality, like iDubbbz has made a video just tearing them apart, and then they just try and feel like they're still in the right.
I mean, look, like iDubbbz is far from perfect himself either. You know, I think iDubbbz is the way he does a lot of things is he's very nitpicky. Kind of he has used very flawed logic in the past, but I think you look at the way the videos he made about, like, again, as you say, Keemstar and Rice Gum, and he fucking tore them apart, you know?
Yeah.
And admittedly, they kind of, like, they are low-hanging fruit, but they weren't being picked, so, you know.
I think it'll be interesting to see how the press conference goes down in London.
In comparison to America's.
Yeah, because, I mean, one, there'll be less Let's Go Champ, and
Walmart.
I think the Pauls will be shocked at the reception they get.
Yeah, well, I think I feel like they might be expecting it, but I think the issue is like the Pauls. It's going to be harder for them to turn it into how the first press conference went, because first they don't have the audience that they had there, and they'll have Geordie there, not McKenna Briggs. But at the same time, like, the best thing for them to do with these press conferences is clearly to turn it into a joke and to turn it into into just chaos.
They just want to create hype. Yeah.
What we saw JJ do brilliantly against Weller is get into his head, and I think Logan's seen what he did to Weller, and he's trying to avoid as many serious conversations as he can because he knows the same's going to happen. So you've got him and Jake making it a circus act and doing all this, and realistically, it's just to hide the fact that they are seriously shitting themselves. Not at the fights, but in terms of how public will react.
Yeah, absolutely. I get
Does anyone know the YouTuber Andre Turby or something like that? T-E-R-B-E-A. Or Andrew Turby. Like he made a few videos about Logan and KSI, and the Low Gang just went to attack him. Jeez. And the Low Gang just went to attack him. Not Logan himself, but like like some of the Low Gang have seen a bit of common sense and started subscribing to him. So like he was at 300k when they first started kind of, but now he's at 573k.
Jeez.
He's had a massive. He has, because he's provided the new hashtag, cookies and common sense. That's what he's going to welcome people to the channel with.
Yeah, I think actually, if we're going back to the press conference, I think like Deji, the way he responded to the thing with Keemstar and with Brian, I definitely think there was the way that Keemstar especially, but also Brian addressed that was definitely quite flawed. Like you could tell in the podcast that just came out that Brian didn't mean it in the way that it came across, but it's still like the whole Keemstar puts out a tweet, Deji should drop out, Joe versus Jake would be the fight everyone wants to see, and then like Geordie replies and basically echoing everything on that other than Deji should drop out. It doesn't, you can see why Deji would get annoyed, right?
Yeah, and also not only is Geordie echoing everything Keemstar says, is everyone that then replies to both of them is then, and then it's just a mix of then Deji sat there reading them going, right, so it's getting into his head. So I think the best thing that, and did you see how Keem didn't take it down straight away? It took him 2 days to take it down.
That's typical Keemstar shit, man. He always like
he is a stirrer.
He'll try and just like I don't know how you'd say it, like just discard any criticism someone has of them. And if it's really sticking, he'll just say, all right, do you know what, my bad.
The thing that frustrated me with Keemstar after it is, so everyone, I'll try and find the tweets now, I'm just getting them up. He gets a load of stick for saying all this shit, and then it was like he was then taking the piss, says like stuff like, hold on, let me try and find it.
It's his YouTube videos where he says, "Why always me? Why is it always me who gets?
Why am I still getting hate?" Yeah, the classic line.
Yeah, I know. It's like you have to see it for yourself, dipshit.
Oh, yeah, so this is it. So on Friday, Friday Fortnite starts in 30 minutes. Personally, I 100% believe Comedy Shorts Gamer is winning this week. Little things like that. It's like there was no need to. So then it's also like, what did he say about? He said something like he said he'd donate $20,000 to charity if Deji wins and stuff like that. And he's just like going overboard.
He was betting on Deji.
Back on side, yeah.
Unless he's betting on both sides, which is also incredibly scummy.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I think with just for when one of them wins, screenshot the winning bet. I'm just going to shut it off. But no, I think that the way like Deji responded to it was also quite telling, though. He responded to it in a very kind of Polish way, and I think both Deji and JJ, I think they've both shown to have responded to criticism quite poorly in the past in some ways. I like both of them. Like I probably like JJ more, but I think they're both, they come across definitely like kind of flawed almost, right? But I think that the way Deji responded to it was quite telling with the whole of, you're irrelevant, you're this, you're that, you're an old man. It's kind of What
that whole thing about that whole thing about like Keemstar and Rice Gum are best buddies, and then like iDubbbz and PewDiePie are best buddies, and then Rice Gum saying in another diss track, how are you going to support a guy who probably says the N-word, and then he's with Keemstar who was exposed for shouting the N-word at someone. Like they're both Rice Gum and Keemstar are just incredibly flawed.
Oh, absolutely.
They're both typical American YouTubers, aren't they? Really, in the sense that they need that buzz.
Toxic.
Don't generalize the Americans. There are some good ones still.
They're very typical of the kind of the more toxic.
Yeah.
I
think you see with actually, I'm generalizing Americans there. Not all Americans, but I mean like that group of American YouTubers who they need that.
Robinson. Not all Muslims.
Not all Muslims. They just hate the ones who call themselves Muslims. Stop.
I'm not racist. I just don't like people who don't come from Britain.
I'm not racist.
Even if you do come from Britain, if you're not white, get out.
I'm not racist. I just think whites are better. I'm not just saying that.
I'm not racist. I just only like people who come from, I don't know, wherever the fuck Tommy Robinson comes from.
Where is he from?
I'm guessing somewhere in the north.
Oh no, he has a fairly like thick like Essex accent. I don't think he's
Actually, that would make
northern.
sense too, I guess.
Robin's, he is from
Luton.
Luton. Yeah, that is. Yeah, he's from an
Jeez.
area which has had a lot of like Muslim people coming over there. Like a lot of people who go to live in like Luton and Bradford. So he's one of those places.
Boys,
So he's,
I'm going to have to leave for today.
Oh yeah, I think we can end it here.
We can,
Yeah,
we
we
can end
can
it
end
here.
it.
We can end it here. That's
Yeah.
cool. We all end
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the outro or do you want to do it together?
Right.
Thank you guys for thank you guys for everyone who's being here. Just like get a quick woo again.
Oh,
Woo. Woo.
Woo. Yeah, and that hopefully this is the first of many. Like thanks for the being here for the introduction podcast. Of
We'll probably do
Podlims.
like different topics as well.
Yeah,
And
we'll get some deep ones.
subscribe to the True Geordie, and I'll see you guys later.